Now, who would win in a fight, Rimuru or EJ from Flame? Well, that's what I've been commissioned to answer. And here's the thing. You guys already know a lot about Rimuru. You don't know a lot about EJ. So let me tell you why Rimuru's just not going to win that fight at all. First things first. EJ was inspired by Kirby, Natsu, Gurren Lagann, and Mega Man. You see, the first time I saw a character take someone's powers away and add it to their own was Mega Man. As I got older, I started seeing that more and more. Rather be a character getting a power-up, other characters sharing abilities with others, or giving their abilities to other characters. And all of that just basically came together and developed into the monster that you all know is EJ. Now, why wouldn't Rimuru be able to harm EJ? Well, it's simple. Let's start with what are his powers and abilities? As has already been stated, EJ has the ultimate defense. EJ produces sentient melanin. Because he produces sentient melanin and he has a melanin core, nothing outside of that can actually harm or affect him, which is why you have to produce sentient melanin to harm someone like him, in which, again, it is verbatim stated. Now, the source of melanin actually comes from Melina, the sentient physical manifestation of melanin itself, and she is the reason why everyone has or produces melanin. And for those who do not produce melanin and instead produce anti-melanin, they come from the god of Salos. Now, when it comes to EJ, he did get a bunch of new powers and abilities within Impound vs. Flame. And although it is a crossover comic, as it is also stated, any powers and abilities that any character gains within the indie space, they not only will be able to keep, but they won't remember any of that while in their main stories, except at any point in time outside of their story. If they get put in a death battle, etc., any powers and abilities that they gain that they also can keep, they can activate and use within a death battle situation, gaining all those powers, abilities, and memories. Now, with that being said, please familiarize yourself with EJ's cheat sheet, which gives you a very detailed look at his powers and abilities and how they work and function. And don't forget the Zodiac Champion form, in which that is also detailed and comes with everything that you'll need to not only understand what that form is, but also how it functions as a whole. And last but not least, his newest form, which also has its own data page and cheat sheet. Now, if you scroll all the way down, then you'll pretty much see that EJ has the authority of an editor. He also gains the ability of a writer, allowing him not only edit both reality and fiction, he can remove, erase, or replace elements within fictional space while also being able to change the narrative itself. Think of it like a God of Stories Loki situation, but way better. Now, if we're just looking at EJ as a whole, right, just his first form, when it comes to him and Rimuru, any powers and abilities that he has, EJ can eat. And that's because when it comes to Devour doesn't just allow him to eat reality, but any powers and abilities or energy source that he eats, he can basically metabolize. And once he metabolizes, he not only has those powers and abilities, but they become a part of him. Like the first time EJ devoured an entire reality and a god, EJ not only was able to gain that power and ability, but he became a god, essentially giving him the power to not only destroy, but to also resurrect and recreate. Even when he fought the god of the Salos, who was inhabiting the body of Zeus, Zeus basically hit him with a big bang. Once EJ devoured that, it not only made him stronger, but just the force of his punches were enough to create omniverses, 3 at that. Technically, that was a kick. And then now we see, again, Regret not only eating fiction itself, but turning it into fiction eraser. And when he hit Blaze with that, Blaze was not only able to absorb it completely, but Blaze was also able to step out of fiction itself, crawling right out of the borders of the page, and even being able to acknowledge the readers. So since Devour is also a passive ability that EJ doesn't have to activate himself, in which when his brother and him are fused, his brother can actually devour while EJ does everything else. Think of it like how Gurren Lagann works. This mode specifically focuses on using all of the Gurren Lagann teammates to help Simo not only pilot this machine, to control all of its powers and abilities. EJ's body houses several entities within it that basically function the same way. By the way, there's Blaze's cheat sheet too. EJ also has several sets of eyes, one of those eyes being Demon Eye, and once Demon Eye starts to spin, EJ can see past, present, future, all at once. What could happen, what hasn't happened. And with EJ having Zeus inside of his body, he also gains his Omniscient, which he can activate, and he can use those powers at will. Now, speaking of powers and abilities, when EJ is in his Zodiac Champion form, he not only has the powers and abilities of a Zodiac champion, but he also gains the 5 labors that Zeus bestowed upon him, which is the speed of Hermes, the rage of Ares, the fires of Hades, the light of Helios' hope, and the lightning of Zeus. Now, each labor has its own individual power and ability, but how they're used is very simple. The rage of Hades makes it so that death cannot touch EJ nor claim him. The rage of Ares, nothing can bind EJ nor hold EJ. When it comes to the light of Helios' hope, it's not only hope personified, but it's a miracle. And it's a miracle that allowed EJ to not only destroy ink, that's the thing that, fiction is made out of, but he was able to cut through it like it was nothing. He also has the speed of Hermes, which means nothing is beyond him and nothing can catch him. EJ can be and exist in multiple places at once, just off speed alone, which it's verbatim stated. He could be having a whole conversation with somebody else and still be dealing with something else at the same time. Now, when it comes to this form in particular, this is everything that he has unlocked at the moment, basically coming together in one unified form. Because of that, EJ is above fiction. And not only can he exist outside of it, he can control and manipulate it. Like for instance, Belphegor tries to destroy the page itself. He breaks it. Does that stop EJ? Absolutely not. I mean, even in a form like this, EJ can generate enough energy to hold an Omniverse Plus in his hand. Now, if you want to try to pull EJ's soul out of his body or separate him and his brothers, good luck. His demon is not going to allow that to happen. He's literally his cheat code. But for the most part, anything that Rimuru has, EJ will be able to absorb and basically add to his own kit. Even without Devour, because he does have the power of an editor and a writer, he could give himself any power and ability that he wants or desires. But I gave you guys all the cheat sheets. You can just go ahead and read them for yourself. Besides that, what character in fiction do you think can beat EJ? Let me know in the comments.